everyone, it's Shane Conto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Wasteland Watchlist here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. And this is my weekly show where a guest and I play some movie roulette and randomly select something from my obnoxiously large and random watch list. And sometimes you just might pick a movie that's actually a pretty well-known movie. And that happens to be the case, it seems like, for Luke and I, whenever he comes on for the most part. But Luke, thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, it's great to be back and obnoxiously large and like random. That's how they called me in high school. So, I'm glad to be back.
Bada bing. There you go. That is the kind of humor and banter you expect here on the SPM Crew Podcasting Network.
Yes.
But we're talking about a cult classic from the late 90s, and it's Rounders. A law student and his pal gamble for high stakes. We love an efficient IMDb plot
Very
synopsis.
efficient. That
It's like
is.
two dudes gamble. Bam,
Yes.
that's it. And they
Do you
do
know they
indeed.
play poker? Did you know? They also
What?
play poker.
And this is from director John Dahl, who I don't really recognize. Like, I'm looking at his top four directorial efforts on IMDb, and I really only know Rounders. So, this seemed to be his big film. But this is late '90s Matt Damon. So, and
Yes.
Edward Norton. So you have some pretty big names here. Gretchen Mol, who I have certainly seen in a few things up to this point. Boardwalk Empire, 310 the Yuma. And then you have John Malkovich, who's Russian, who's Teddy KGB. What a
Yes.
name.
And
What?
John Torturo. Don't forget the other John.
Yes, we have John Turturro. We also have Martin Landau pops
Oh,
up in
yes.
this as well. So this actually has a pretty darn good cast. There's some
Mm-hmm.
character actors thrown in there as well. But Luke, before we jump into giving our general thoughts on the film, I have a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of background. So I
Okay.
did mention this is directed by John Dahl. This debuted at Venice Film Festival on September 4th, 1998, and then
Wow.
released in theaters on the 11th. This released in theaters September 11th, 1998. So this is actually very timely as we're
Mm-hmm.
recording this because Venice just happened and like so many
What else that
reactions
just
coming.
happened also? Something else just happened also. 9/11?
Yes, yeah, we did. We are recording on the 13th, so 2 days after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this has a runtime of 121 minutes. It had a budget of $12 million. It had a box office of $22.9 million. So like it wasn't a flop, but it wasn't like the hugest success in the world.
Nope.
But it is starring Matt Damon and Edward Norton. Rounder refers to somebody going city to city looking for a high stakes game, which they certainly are rounders.
Yes.
This became a cult classic during the aughts poker boom. Like when ESPN started showing World Series of Poker and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
it became a
Mm-hmm.
humongous thing. And apparently people went back and checked this out. This was shot during the release of Good Will Hunting. So all of
Makes
that
sense.
built up coming out. Matt Damon was doing this. This was shot almost exclusively in New York City, except the law school is at actually Rutgers, Newark. So
Mm.
there's a bits of Jersey in here. So
Nice.
I could appreciate. And there's rumors that Sean Penn was actually considered for the Edward Norton role, which I feel like would have had a different kind of dynamic because then Matt Damon and Sean Penn would not be like peers. It would have been,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would have been like some kind of like mentoring relationship where your mentor's unreliable. Because at this point, Sean Penn would have been,
I don't think they're that all. Are they that apart from each other in age? Because I was like, I can see it kind of working because at the time Sean Penn wasn't just the dramatic actor we know him as now. Remember he used to be like a pretty kind of like a Tom Hanks, pretty. Oh,
well,
hey,
I
he's a
know is,
funny dude.
well, the big thing is like he started with Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yes,
Okay, well, Sean Penn's like 10 years older than Matt
yes,
Damon.
then okay. So that's yeah, but I
I
can
guess it wouldn't have
kind
been
of
that
see
big of a
it. I
like
can like
I
because like Edward Norton also is very goofy in this movie. Like, not to
well,
go
here's the
that
thing.
much ahead.
could see the casting. I think that would have
Hmm.
been an interesting role for Sean Penn.
Yeah.
I just, after watching the film, I don't think I'd want anybody besides Edward Norton because, like,
Yes.
Edward Norton's such a great actor, and he can play a piece of crap so well.
Some people
Because
say that he doesn't play.
Edward Norton doesn't exactly have the best reputation.
Yes. Yes, you can say
um,
that.
yes, his character's name's literally Worm.
Yes.
So, like, if that doesn't tell you, but Luke, what were your general thoughts on Rounders?
So my first thought, when we picked this movie, I was like, "Really? You've never seen this? That seems like such a Shane movie. That seems like or not even a Shane movie. That just seems such a everybody's seen Rounders. Like it's like such a
Mhm,
staple almost." My second thought. So this was my second time, if I'm not mistaken,
mhm,
maybe third. But I yet again this is for me one of those movies. It's like I don't think I'll ever like fall in love, but I'm very firm like I really like this movie. I really, 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 really like this movie. There is
mhm,
always something that's held me back a bit, and I think we can touch upon it later. But I will say this: on this rewatch, I've realized I was like, this is a neo noir movie. Like everything from from Matt Damon being like the narrator and like this is what's happening to like there is like a clear struggle. There's like like he needs to like there's gangsters, but there are Russian gangsters and they deal with cards, not like stolen artifacts or this or this or this is like especially in the first half. I'm like, this is a clear homage to noir movies, and it's like a pretty great neo-noir movie. And I've never picked up on it until now, where it's like even the shots, like certain shots, are like this seems like something like from 50s. Like
mhm.
I've never picked up on it until now. So like this rewatch was definitely like good for me because I never realized that. So, but it's your first time, Shane. What did you think?
Well, what's very interesting is that um classic noir were not the films that I immediately thought of in terms of influencing this because this is Hustlers. Like this is the Hustler, but with poker
Hmm.
instead of
Hmm.
pool.
But can you
Because
not
like,
make an argument Hustler is also kind of a noir? Like I've only seen it once. I might do for a rewatch, so I'm not gonna bet my reputation on it. But if I remember correctly, it's kind of also in that.
well, because like speaking from a narrative perspective,
Hmm.
because you have Fast Eddie goes
Hmm.
up against Minnesota Fats,
Hmm. Hmm.
gets beat,
Hmm. Hmm.
and has to build up to the point where he comes back and wipes the floor with
Yes.
Minnesota Fats because that's his journey. You have Mike show up and get creamed by Petty KGB in all of John Malkovich's most Russian way possible. And then he has to come full circle and come back to him. So I got that immediately because The Hustler is
Hmm.
one of my favorite films. I love that film to pieces. And I'm just
Hmm.
like, okay, it's obviously leaning into some tropes that you have from sports movies. These are like the least sporty sport movies because it's about
Yeah.
pool and poker. Like
Yeah.
it's that same kind of vibe, that competition. And the reason I knew about this film is because I love impressions and doing accents, and I've watched plenty of videos on YouTube of a linguist, this one specific linguist who goes through and talks about actors' accents in movies. And of course, some of the best ones he's found were specifically from Daniel Day-Lewis because
Surprise.
surprise, surprise that Daniel Day-Lewis does homework and refines his accents for things. But
And goes
like
to goes living in England for fucking years, so he like perfects it or something like because he's so method. Okay.
yeah. Well, and here he did indeed talk about John Malkovich's Russian accent, which he's like, it's not terrible. It's just leaning into very specific stereotypes
Yes.
about
Yes.
Russian accents. So like it's probably not going to feel the most authentic, but
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
it's technically like he's doing the work. But and you shouldn't expect anything less from John Malkovich because if you're gonna get John Malkovich for a movie,
Hmm.
he
Hmm.
just injects whatever project he's in with some energy. And like I think he makes for a really good looming antagonist because how many scenes is Teddy KGB in this film?
Yeah, like just the beginning and the end,
Yeah,
and altogether
dude,
about like 10 minutes, 15, if that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like he's a looming presence and his name comes up a lot. And it's
Hmm.
automatically has that energy and vibe. But the thing is like late 90s, early 2000s Matt Damon level of charisma is unmatched. Like there's just
Yes.
like young Matt Damon is a charismatic man for sure. And like
Hmm.
he still is. It's just he doesn't have that like this is like a youthful kind of like energy that he brings. It's the same thing you get out of Goodwill Hunting, Dogma. Like this era Matt Damon, there's an energy here. And he's
He's
so
like a golden
charismatic.
retriever in this era. Like he just want
Yes.
to pet him. Like, he's such a good boy. Okay. This is why we all fell in love with Matt Damon. You just want to
Yeah.
pet the guy. He's just like so likable. It's like, oh yeah, hey Matt Damon, come here, boy.
Well, and he is easily empathetic. And that's why
Hmm.
we could get why we can get behind Mike for doing the same exact things why we can't get behind Worm
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
Worm is a piece of crap. And Edward Norton plays that so good. Like the smugness, the arrogance. Edward Norton checks all those boxes and he's so good at it.
Hmm.
And
I
I
wonder
love
why.
Martin. I wonder why. I love Martin Landau. I think he's a
Yes.
great supporting character and just adds that mentoring element, that layer to it. I'll say one of the things that I didn't care so much about in this movie is the romance.
Hmm.
I don't think it's really anything against like Gretchen Mol or anything. I just feel like with everything going on, all the tension going on, his romantic relationship is not the most dynamic or interesting, and I don't think it's as interesting as everything else going on with him.
Hmm. I see. This was one of the points I wanted to touch on. So let's go. I love me some Gretchen Mol, especially in Boardwalk Empire. That show is
Mhm,
so good, and she is
mhm.
one of the big reasons why that show is so good because she's so
Yeah,
great in it. This time around, I'm like, why do I don't like Gretchen Mol in this? I genuinely think, yes, the character doesn't help, the screenplay doesn't help, but I also think she's kind of a miscast, and I that hurts me to say because I really like me some Gretchen Mol, but I feel like this is not the role for her. Like I feel like this should have been kind of like Gwyneth Paltrow of that era. This should have been kind of like Tara Reid, not a blonde. If you want a blonde actress in the late 90s, like somebody like that. That because again, that role is not the meatiest, right?
it's
So
basically
somebody,
it's like basically she's supposed to be a very intelligent lawyer,
hmm,
and I think that's it. And I
yes,
like to be honest, like that's the extent of this. And the role of Joe is a thankless role. He's the I'm the stick in the mud. You
hmm,
need to, lean into your more normal life and stop doing all these fun gambling things.
hmm,
Thankless role, and you have to have the right actor in that role to make it interesting and
hmm.
make it that way. And I don't think Maul doesn't have a lot to work with, and I don't think she really brings anything to it
Because
extra.
again, like I think she's such a specific actress where she's usually like I've seen what I've seen of hers. It's usually like oh yeah, like she's like strong, but also like you can see there's like demons in there,
Mm,
like battling something. And here she's almost like this. Hey, please don't just don't play. Hey, please don't play. Oh, you've
yeah.
played. Okay, I'm leaving you. But at the end, oh, call me. And I'm like, okay. So like, you guys gonna fuck still? Okay. Like
Okay.
the fuck? Like, look, like and I understand that kind of how it is because like you can tell she still has feelings for him. Fair. Okay.
Why wouldn't she?
I mean, it's a
This is
golden
late
boy. It's a
90s
go
Matt Damon.
Yeah, it's a golden boy. Come here. Like it's so cute. Like he is genuinely like fucking cute. And but here the thing is like so yeah, so for me, I was like every time Gretchen Mol was in a scene, I'm like, why am I not enjoying this? And it's not just the entire storyline. Genuinely, like, just put there a Gwyneth Paltrow. Like, at least that'll be more believable. Like, in like this kind of like, oh, I love you, don't play. Uh, I feel like if you cast Gretchen Mol, give her something to.
Well, and I feel like the whole law story element is like he needs to have something
Mm-hmm.
that he's blowing, like messing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has this relationship and he has his law school stuff. He needs something to neglect.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's there, he neglects it. And that's the best part of that whole section parts of the film is Martin Landau. And I think
Yes.
because that relationship becomes very interesting because Martin Landau is perfect and I think brings a lot into this. And I love their dynamic and it works really well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I've never bought into the relationship between Mike and Joe enough to want to fight for it. Like if
Mm-hmm.
I'm an audience member and I don't want the main character to fight for a relationship or I don't care enough for them to
Yes.
fight for a relationship, it's not working. And I didn't buy it enough to
Mm-hmm.
care. Honestly, so much of this film's like, dude, lash out. Get out of this boring life. This is not for you. And like that's the vibe that I got out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You have other characters like Don Totoro who pops in and out. And it's very interesting because Don Totoro is such an interesting actor because he can do so many different types of things. Here he's just this very intense, very like straight-laced kind of character who's kind of like I don't want to say like blank, but he's kind of where it's just like there he's the guiding light to Mike trying to be like you got to stay on straight here.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a way to do this. And he's the one shoulder and Worm's the other where it's just like dude,
Yes.
take some chances. And I was so mad when he showed up at that police thing and then they got the down on them. And I'm just like, I would simply beat the shit out of Worm after that for sure.
Like on this rewatch, that was another thing. I've noticed how fucking great John Torture is in this movie. Like he doesn't. It's kind of like with Gretchen Mol. He also doesn't have many scenes. He also or
Yeah.
like KGB. He doesn't have many scenes. But the scenes he's in, he's this almost like fatherly figure in a way. But also you can tell there is something menacing about him, where when he speaks with purpose, right?
Mhm.
It's like, oh yeah, I play it, because I have a mortgage, I have kids to feed. I don't play, for like dreams to
Yeah.
making it into Vegas like you, and like
That
that.
seems great
Yeah, exactly that
at the
scene.
Russian bath scene.
Yes, that scene. I feel like, damn. I was like, damn, John Turturro. Like you didn't have to go that hard. Like and that was like that. If only we had more characters like that in this movie, like this, like Martin Landau, he's his grandfather figure almost, and I was like,
Yeah.
I want you to be my grandfather, please. Like
Yeah.
he's such a sweet fucking man, and he gives him the 10,000. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't do that, but I understand that. Like, why did you do that? Like, but please be my grandfather too. Like, he's such a fucking sweet man. Like, he sees the potential this kid has, and despite everything, he's still in his corner. And Matt Damon needs somebody like that. Also whilst having the worst friend ever in Edward
Yeah.
Norton.
Well, and to be honest, I would have thought Sean Penn might have been Joey more,
Mm,
like John Turturro's character, which apparently John Turturro is 13 years older than Matt Damon. It's just John Turturro is great in this. John Malkovich is just having a blast doing his thing. I started watching this right before Jess went to bed, and she's like, "John Malkovich with hair?" Because like he's still bald on top, but he has so much. He has a
yeah,
beard and he has a
yeah.
bunch of hair here. So then it's just like I've never seen John Malkovich with so much hair before. Uh,
And then he
and
spoke.
the tracksuit, like just the whole entire vibe. It's such a
Where
vibe.
is my money?
Where
It's
is my money?
that's
And
so
it's
good.
just like
It's so
so
bad, it's so good. This is one of those like choices that, you know, they're like, oh, this is so bad, but it turns very good. It's have you imagined like, when he said like, oh yeah, like, him being unhinged and all that, I had a thought, what if this role was played by Nicolas Cage?
oh my God, it could have easily been played by Nicolas Cage. He was
Yes.
hot off of an Oscar
Yes.
in late 90s. This would have been the same time as Face Off. Oh my
But
God.
leave the accent, the Nicolas Cage doing Russian accent, or be his brother or something like that.
He would have flipped out more because you do
Yes.
because here's the thing, John Malkovich can be very intense and calculating, but he could also be very over the top and very emotional. And you get the one moment where he knows that Mike figured out his tell with the whole
Mm-hmm.
Oreos and stuff like that. And he's
Uh-huh.
like, "You gave me cookies." Just like that whole entire thing. And those two scenes are so intense and well structured, full with suspense. And I appreciate this film had a sense of mystery about it. The mystery is we spend so much time with Mike in this film.
Mm-hmm.
How did he get beat by Teddy KGB so badly at the beginning when we see that he's very good at this? And we finally find out later why he
Mm-hmm.
went there that night. And that was an interesting little narrative piece that pulled it all together.
Yeah.
Um, and it's very interesting because like Famke Janssen, very
Oh,
attractive woman,
yes.
was a model, was a very formative piece of my childhood watching GoldenEye as a kid and having
Xenia on the top.
Vinya on the top. Trust me, Mr. Bond, the pleasure was all yours. And obviously she's Jean Grey in the X-Men movies, but
Yes.
like she is the foil to Joe because he has these two women in each aspect of his life. And Famke Jens, like Gretchen Mall's Joe is very reserved and she's a lawyer and she's that kind of vibe. And then Famke Jensen is just so sexy, seductive, and alluring. And she's poker. Like
Mm-hmm.
she is that. And like obviously there's not much to her character besides that, but like she embodies that so perfectly. And it's just like in some way, it's like, could Mike be with her instead? Could
But I
be.
love
She
how the
wants him.
movie. See, that's the thing, but I love the choice or the movie makes or the people behind the movie make, where it's like you can tell in that one scene where she kisses him, right? You can tell he says no,
Yeah.
and he almost sees her like Matt Damon look, is he the best of actors? No, but I think he's good enough where you can tell in that moment he views her as like it's kind of almost like a sister character,
Yeah.
right?
I think they're
Like
too
this.
close
Yes.
from
So like
like
it's
that
like the
kind of way.
buddy, yeah, like the friend character where it almost feels like sister or like a cousin or something like that. So despite her being objectively stunning woman, right? Like he cannot just do it, even though and they share, the interest like poker. She would know exactly what he's on about. She would probably, not support him, but definitely give him more of a leeway than Gretchen Mol. Like he knows not to do it, right? And I think that's one of the biggest difference between him and Worm, aka like Edward Norton, where he is so in your face, Edward Norton's character Worm. He's so in everybody else's face, and he obviously is talented, but he doesn't know where to stop. He doesn't know
Yes.
when to say, or he just needs to say that one extra sentence where he just pisses everybody off. He just needs to fucking flash one more time for his own ego. Whereas I think that's the biggest difference between like they are very much alike, like Matt Damon and Edward Norton. But I think the movie makes nicely clear the biggest difference is Matt Damon has somewhat his ego in check. Like
Yeah.
he still thinks he can win a World Series in poker, and he will try, but he still has his ego in check, and he tries to be sensible about what he's doing. Tries is a very operative word
Yeah.
in that sentence, by the way.
Well, and other quick things. for those CSI New York fans, Melina Kanakaredes, when she pops up, I'm like, wait a minute. She has a small role in this, but I really like her. And also
Mhm.
Michael Spoli, um, grandma, that guy's a bastard. And
Yes.
he is because like he is the stand-in for Teddy. Because Teddy's only in two scenes in this whole movie. And that's
Hmm.
probably as much John Malkovich as they could afford. For as much as such a small budget film. But like he is such a bastard, this
Yes.
character. And that scene with the dog, I wanted to jump through the screen and punch that man in the face.
Hmm.
But he's a really talented character actor that pops up in stuff, and he's most likely playing a Italian gangster in a lot of things because he's an Italian American actor, so he's probably going to at some point, especially
Yes.
from New York. So, but
Yeah.
yes, Luke, do you have any other thoughts about Rounders?
I think again, it's a very great, like it's a great, solid movie. For me, I genuinely have figured out why I think I'll never probably be in a loved it kind of camp. Gretchen Wall being miscast and having nothing to do is one of them. And I genuinely think that the beginning, the first third, and the last third are excellent. And the one in the middle kind of slows down everything for me just a tiny bit where I notice and I get bored because it is a 2 hour movie, which 2 hours is not bad, right?
Hmm.
And it doesn't like I'm not saying it just moves slowly, but the middle part of this movie, I don't know if anything could have been cut. Probably the romantic storyline, but like there is something excuse me that just doesn't vibe with me all the way. But the beginning and the end, great, and I understand why people who play poker are so all over this movie.
I think for me, definitely the romantic subplot. And I think what I would put it down to for me is that it feels very safe narratively in terms of how it's structured because it feels like a lot of
Hmm.
sports movies. Like it
Yeah.
has that kind of beats and everything. And it's okay to lean into tropes and stuff like that. It's just I felt like it was pretty noticeable while I was watching it. Like the fact that immediately I'm like, this is the hustler. And like that kind of thing. And that's why I don't love it, but I had a great time with this movie and I'd watch
Hmm.
this again. I thought this was a really
Yeah.
entertaining experience.
Yeah.
But that's a wrap here on the Wasteland watch list. Luke, thank you so much as always for coming on and talking movies with me.
Always a blast, Shane. Thank you so much for having me again.
Of course. And thank all of you for listening. Like, comment, and share on this episode. What's your favorite Matt Damon movie? Matt
Matt
Damon.
Damon.
Matt Damon. Um, I always thought that Damon was a Streisand, but he actually kicked some ass in this movie. Hmm. Thank you, 40-year-old virgin. Um, but make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. We have so many great podcasts here on this network. Luke with his interview show, my 5 movie related ones, and so many other ones. So many things for you to connect with and enjoy. But if you want to be a guest on one of these shows, like this one specifically, I'm always welcome to have some people doing some movie roulette. Or if you want to start your own podcast, reach out to us on our website. If you like our logo, check out HiFlyer Creative for all your digital marketing needs. Most importantly, thank you as always for tuning in and supporting the Wasteland Watchlist here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.